Hey everybody, welcome to Modern Magic at GameSwap and Mason, brought to you by Top Deck Productions on Twitch TV. I'm Mark Anliker here with Mario Krabari. And looks like we've got one regular deck and one not regular deck here. Looks like Bant Eldrazi versus Mill. So this is going to be an exciting one. Bant Eldrazi, for those of you who don't know, is exactly what it sounds like. We're talking about Bant colors with big Eldrazi in it. Reality Smasher, Thought Not Seer, Eldrazi Sky Spawner, sometimes a World Breaker. And Josh Gries on Mill. Now Mill could mean a lot of things. Could be Esper, could be Bant, we don't know. But I do see an Archive Trap in Josh's hand, so it's almost certain to contain blue. So Josh is going to start off with the Sunken Hollow. Comes into play tapped. Some disagreement about that, but that is correct. Josh does not control two other basic lands, so it'll come into play tapped. And Connor will lead off with a Temple Garden. And okay, and it looks like we've got clarification. Josh is actually on blue-black Mill.
Hello.
Not judging by the Sunken Hollow.
Sorry about that, guys. We had some
having some technical difficulties. But yeah, so Josh will start with a Sunken Hollow and a Ghost Quarter. Still no plays yet. I don't know if this this blue-black Mill deck wants Mana Leak or something, but maybe we'll see a Mana Leak. But
okay, so we got the Engineered Explosives being cast into the void on X=2.
I don't know about that.
He had to take 1 damage for that, correct?
Yeah, he did.
Off Yavi Maya Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not wild about
the Shelldock Isle.
This is what happens when I let Mario pick the match. Everybody,
this is a great matchup. Bant Eldrazi is a nice deck. I don't think we've seen that on camera in weeks.
But I think you missed the turn one where Josh tried to put his Sunken Hollow into play untapped, and then his opponent had to explain to him that it would come in tapped.
All right, well, maybe we're new to Modern. Maybe we're just coming here. We're trying to bail some folks out. You can't blame him.
Josh is also playing Shelldock Isle, but does not know what Shelldock Isle does.
That seems to be the case. Also, I'm not sure about the post-land Hedron Crab.
Yeah, you kind of want to. The way Hedron Crab works, for those of you who don't know, it's a 1 mana 0/3, I think, 0/2.
0/2, I think.
And it has landfall. Mill yourself or mill a target player for 3.
Yeah.
And you usually want to use that either on yourself or on opponent.
You usually want to do that before playing.
Yeah, you want to do it before you play
your
your land, so you can get the additional value. So this is going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, perhaps a new player on it. What?
He's archive trapping while he's searching.
Yeah, because he searched the library. Mill 13,
so he's going to mill 13. So actually doesn't oh no, that's fine. Yeah, I was going to say you need to mill 13 before you get your land, but that's not correct.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
That would be fun if it says like if a player would search their library. Right. Instead, they mill 13 and then search their library.
Yeah, like it's a replacement effect.
Yeah.
That would be something.
That would be cool. But it's not. So it looks like Connor's it's 13, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the cards you need to win this game with Mill.
Yeah. So that's a hefty amount.
You pump out 4 of those, and
got
you've essentially got your
Smasher.
opponent.
Got a Drowner of Hope.
Yeah, so Connor is playing one of the very few decks in Modern that literally gets 0 value out of this.
Being milled,
yeah. Being milled.
That's true.
Literally 0. Oh, well, actually, Connor has an Eternal Witness.
Okay,
so
but
there's
it's
one.
now in his graveyard.
If there is another Eternal Witness in the graveyard or in the deck, when we could see this have some relevance, because that will basically mean that the next Eternal Witness that Connor might draw is essentially like a, it's almost going to be it's going to be like a demonic tutor.
Sure. So here we have the Eldrazi Sky Spawner coming down for Connor. Gonna perhaps accelerate his mana next turn a little. We did already see 2 Reality Smashers get milled, so he may not have many more of those left.
Yeah, Smasher is one of the cards I feel like you need in this matchup just to kill your opponent as quickly as possible. But it's also one of the cards that if it doesn't come down quick, you can lose pretty fast to Ensnaring Bridge.
Sure.
I'm not sure I like Connor playing this Engineered Explosives on 2 blind
into the void,
at all. It's not, if it's not going to kill this crab, which he probably had no idea about. It's not going to kill Ensnaring Bridge if we see one. It's not going to kill Mesmeric Orb, will it? Isn't Mesmeric Orb a 2-drop?
Yeah, I think Mesmeric Orb is.
Oh, so it will. So we do think it will hit Mesmeric Orb.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain.
So that seems fine, and I suppose it's possible.
It's not like he knew his opponent was on mill, though, right?
Not that we know of.
Maybe
all he saw was Sunken Hollow Ghost Quarter.
Maybe he put the preemptive. Or maybe he was thinking about a Snapcaster, cast it on 2.
Maybe he scumbagged his opponent when he took his deck and was shuffling it. He just
sure.
sort of looked at the bottom.
Sure.
He saw the glimpse, the unthinkable, hands it back. He's like, oh,
all right,
okay.
so it looks like Mesmeric Orb is a 2-drop, so that can be blown up by Engineered Explosives.
Well, maybe Connor's just brilliant.
I do think Josh missed his landfall trigger. Probably should keep that in mind when you're playing Hedron Crab.
Did he miss another one?
Well, this time he actually played a land with Hedron Crab and played.
Right, he played the second shot.
Did not cause his opponent to mill.
Yeah, this. Yeah, if you're not
seems like a new player to the mill archetype.
If you're not activating that ability, why are you playing a 1-mana 0/2?
It's blocking Eldrazi Scion.
It is blocking Eldrazi Scion.
That's pretty good.
It could be worse. There are some cards that don't block Eldrazi Scion.
That's true. Snapcaster doesn't block it well.
Noble Hierarch doesn't block it well.
No.
So right now this crab is doing more work than a Noble Hierarch, right?
That is true. So it seems like Connor has perhaps a judge question. Not sure what he's asking about.
That could be.
Maybe if he has to inform his opponent of the Hedron Crab mill. It appears that he does not. Draws a card for the turn. Does not have a 5-drop. All right.
I was going to say it's possible that maybe Josh thinks that Connor's lands are supposed to trigger this crab, but he's not hitting those triggers either. So
no, I think he's not familiar with the Hedron Crab.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not a super popular card, but you would think you'd want to be familiar with it if you're playing.
Sure.
But yeah, I think Josh may be a newer player today. We went rando for the first match.
Yeah,
here.
we
chose table 1. This is table 1 you guys are seeing.
A random table 1. Usually we'll see some regulars later in the night if they're doing well. So this is our opportunity to see great matchups like this.
Great matchups, yes. The classic blue-black mill versus Bant Eldrazi.
All right, I like this line. We're playing the Hedron Crab. Are we playing a land?
Let's see it. Maybe we'll see the land here.
No, that's not a land.
Not a land yet.
No. There's a land. All right. And we're hitting our triggers. All right.
So he's gonna mill him for 12 here once he cracks his fetch land.
Yeah.
Hopefully he hits the fetch land trigger. Do you think we think he knows about that?
It's possible.
I would love to see Josh still win this game after missing
second Mesmeric Orb. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So the Engineered Explosives is actually relevant now.
Yeah, he's blowing it up. Let's see a trick bind.
Let's see the Nimble Obstructionist.
All right, down goes Mesmeric Orbs. So the crafty Engineered Explosives on 2 actually paying off there.
Yep, I guess we were wrong. I guess Connor's just brilliant. I assume he puts it on 2 there because he sees black, and he's like, well, my opponent must have Snapcaster for me.
Yeah, that's probably why you put it on 2.
But I'm, or maybe this is his good friend, and he knows.
Well, perhaps.
And that could explain why Josh is not hitting these triggers, because he wants to be nice to his opponent.
Josh had the opportunity to cast his Manic Scribe that turn if he would crack his fetch, but he instead opted not to. Not really sure. So Manic Scribe, one of the newer mill cards. It's from Shadows over Innistrad. It's a Delirium Miller. So when it enters, I think it's a 2-drop creature. That's a 0/3 or something. When it enters, you mill 3, and then I think on each upkeep you also mill 3 if you have Delirium. So it's actually powerful if you can get Delirium, but without it, it's kind of just a mediocre blocker that doesn't do much.
Yeah, so I don't like not fetching for Josh here, because you actually give your opponent the opportunity to now respond with mana to this fetch land.
Sure.
So if Josh goes to crack to try to get these 2 ETB land triggers,
here we see Manic Scribe.
Connor could respond with a path.
Right.
And then of course, I guess you'd get the same amount of triggers because you'd get the path land on one of the things.
That's true. Yeah,
we don't know.
You get a search for your land anyway.
But hey, Connor could Nimble Obstructionist this fetch land.
Yeah, you never know.
And then just blow him out.
It looks like whatever Connor has in hand is not very good. He's not cast any other creatures.
No, I'm not a big fan of Stubborn
that is actually quite good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, down goes responding with the fetch.
Yeah, you got to respond with the fetch here.
No, we do not.
Yeah,
so definitely a new player.
So what Josh needed to do there was crack the fetch in response to the Engineered Explosives.
Mill 6. Yeah.
So you'd make a mill 6.
Sure.
So,
Oh, we do have Ensnaring Bridge.
So honestly, Connor's best answers to Ensnaring Bridge are Engineered Explosives.
Which we've already used 2 of.
Yeah, he probably does not have more than 2. If this Ensnaring Bridge comes down, Josh might actually be unable.
Oh, no.
Oh, you got to play the Ensnaring Bridge.
Well, he might play the Ensnaring Bridge, but unfortunately, Connor has a Stubborn Denial in hand.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, now right now that's only.
Well, it will counter Ensnaring Bridge in this case.
Right, because now Josh hasn't. God, this is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Connor has a Stubborn Denial, and interestingly, Connor's Stubborn Denial is only a 4 spike right now.
So, yeah. Also, Josh milled himself with this Manic Scribe, but it's only opponents, so that's
Oh right, so he's just revealed cards from.
Yeah, he's just.
This is kind of a mess. But so Connor's Stubborn Denial only is a 4 spike right now, but Josh is going to be forced to tap out now for his Ensnaring Bridge, and it'll probably be countered. So that's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. So perhaps we're just putting cards back on top of the library.
Yeah, Josh clearly a new player here. This is.
We do actually know the order of other cards in the library because of these Shelldock Isles, but I think Josh failed to inform the judge of that.
Yeah, that's.
I guess we're going to shuffle with this fetch eventually anyway, so maybe that's not super important, but.
I mean, it's not all that important anyway.
Right.
But
like the chance. Well, unless he's milling himself, but.
Sure. Oh man. Okay, so Scott has deduced that the bottom 6 were known because they were facing different directions, which is another game state via. You can't do that. You can't.
That's just a passive thing you might accidentally do.
That's somewhat understandable.
So, but craftily, Josh playing around Stubborn Denial does not deploy the Ensnaring Bridge that turn.
Do you think he was playing around Stubborn Denial?
Of course.
I think most players.
Josh is so far ahead in this game, we don't even know.
If I were to do a Venn diagram of players that play around Stubborn Denial and players that miss their landfall triggers on their own Hedron crabs, I'm not sure what it.
They would not be in the shared part of the Venn diagram.
I don't know if Josh is in both. I don't know if he's in the middle of that Venn diagram.
Do we have Delirium here? That's a good question. We got Instant from Archive Trap, Creature from Hedron Crab, Artifact from Mesmeric Orb. We don't have a land. We could have gotten a land.
Yeah, there could be a land if he fetches,
we're not doing that.
If he uses this fetch land. Oh, man, I can't deal with. So we obviously picked this match because we want you guys to be super prepared for the modern PPTQ tomorrow at
GameSwap. There is one of those tomorrow.
No, not at GameSwap.
Oh, it's not a GameSwap.
I think it's in another store in the area, but yeah, we wanted you guys to get all the strats and the pro tips about how to play blue-black mill.
This is not how to play blue-black mill.
This is called blue-black mill for dummies.
Sure. It's a tutorial.
Pick it up at your local game store for $9.99.
All right, but what's Stubborn Denial doing? All right, we're paying 1, easy.
Pay the 1. Please pay the 1. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, all right, good.
Nice.
See? God. Crafty play there.
Crafty play.
We're not getting Stubborn Denial.
The big choices.
What are we doing now? We're just passing the turn. How are these Eldrazi getting through?
That is actually. It's a big deal he paid 1 there because I honestly think Connor was trying to scumbag his opponent.
That is possible.
Connor only played that Stubborn Denial with the intent to
just counter it hard.
Scumbag his opponent who might not know to pay 1.
Or he just, is using it because he might not get any value of it at anywhere other point.
Yeah, so as far as I know, Connor's only out at this point.
Maybe the 3rd Engineered Explosives?
Well, I was going to say that's probably not likely, but what is likely is another Eternal Witness to get back Engineered Explosives.
So Ancient Stirrings here. We found some Eldrazi, but they're not doing anything.
No, and you can't Blessed Alliance in Ensnaring Bridge.
That is true, and you can't blink it with Eldrazi Displacer.
Now you could Blessed Alliance at Ensnaring Bridge if Josh is playing Tezzeret.
Sure.
Turn it into a creature.
Classic. The blue-black mill Tezzerator brew.
That's right. So does Josh have no cards in hand now?
He has 0.
Okay.
He could activate Delirium.
So Connor can still get there with Noble Hierarchs if he has them.
Underneath. Well, we got a 0/3 blocker.
Yeah, we got a 0/3 blocker. Now, if Connor is for some reason splashing for Keswick Wolf Run in red, you can still get there with Noble Hierarch. But no, this is looking pretty grim.
So I think the best play for Josh at this point is to crack his fetch land, get that land in the graveyard, turn on Delirium.
Yeah, you definitely want to have Delirium with this Manic Scribe. That's the only reason to play the card.
we're counting the graveyard instead of the cards remaining in the deck. Breaking out some nice math here. All right, I like that. Training his intellect while we play.
It's sort of
so not sure how many cards are in the graveyard, but it looks like he's gotten through about half the deck.
Yeah, that's my guess too. We've seen one archive trap, probably three Hedron Crab triggers.
All right, here's Darkslick Shores tapped.
Shores coming in tapped.
Need to empty your hand. Might as well.
I think Josh. My prediction right now is that Josh does actually win this game, and that would be, if I were Connor, I would be totally.
That just shows the power of
totally
blue-black
tilted.
mill.
Yeah, just the raw power of blue-black mill. I think missing those triggers at the outset was intentional. There's some master plan that we've yet to see.
Yeah, maybe
come to
he's trying to give his opponent some confidence there. And then
well, that's how he baited that stubborn denial of his opponent's hand by making him think he was bad.
But he's not.
He's not. The guy, brilliant. He's brilliant. Have you seen Craig Wesco? I think we talked about this some other week, but when Craig Wesco plays Hate Bears or any deck, he does all these funny things like try to make his opponent think he's bad by he pretends to have path.
Oh yeah, and
like
he does nothing.
He goes to touch his lands like instinctively, like as if giving away information that he has path when he doesn't have one to make his opponent think he has one. Craig's a great player. Sorry, that was.
So here we see
off to the side. Ooh, Glimpse the Unthinkable.
Yeah, Glimpse the Unthinkable, and also this Drowner of Hope from Connor's end, but Connor has his own hope drowned at this point.
That's right. Yeah, we
Mill
are
10.
We
All
are
right.
watching. We are watching.
1, 2, 3,
the
4,
drowning.
5, 6. There's 10. Yeah, we're getting low here.
When I used to play more casual decks during Dark Ascension Innistrad era, I played an Undead Alchemist deck that was like a blue black zombie mill, and I called it Drown the Damned. It was
Nice.
very fun, very close to my heart. That's how I feel with this Drowner of Hope in play against this Glimpse the Unthinkable.
All right, so we can activate Shelldock Isle now.
Woo! Oh, is that a Fraying Insanity?
That is a Fraying Insanity.
Oh, baby, that's why we're playing the deck.
Yeah, that's what I like to see.
That's the reason to play.
Oh, we got another one underneath this Shelldock. Let's do it.
Oh man, so Fraying Insanity, for those of you who don't know, brand new enchantment, right? Just came out, and I think it's 3-mana curse, and the player that you curse with it, they have to mill as many cards as they've milled this turn. Oh wow, he's just gonna scoop it up.
Yeah, but we had another mill spell there.
Oh
and
man,
that's it.
Connor is tilted. I love this. Oh man, Josh. It appears Josh works or has been to the Jack Casino. I wonder if he's a poker player trying to get into Magic.
That is possible,
did you know that's
I
actually
have no other information.
That's actually fairly common, like at the Pro Tour.
Oh,
There's
I know.
a lot of overlap between professional
poker
players.
players,
Yeah, because there's a lot of the same sort of bluffing strategies involved, and the same card flick
and
strategies.
And maybe Josh was going with the long bluff there, missing some triggers.
Yeah, the long bluff.
His
That's
opponent's
right.
getting confident.
That's
Boom,
right.
ensnaring bridge through your stubborn denial.
Boom.
Easy. Took the game away.
So
Fraying Sanity, yeah, really, really powerful enchantment. It's even making mill possible in standard, which it hasn't been since Sphinx's tutelage around a year or two ago. That in Startled Awake is a pretty big hit. You mill your opponent for 26. In Modern, it's even more viable when half your mill cards do 10 or more.
Yep.
That's a lot of cards, and dealing with an enchantment is not super common, at least in the main board. Obviously, Connor might have some more answers here out of the side.
I think that mill deck is good. I watched it being played some at the Open this past weekend in Cincinnati, and it was not bad. I actually watched it take down Mardu Vehicles, which seems like a bad matchup because you're actually giving your opponent quite a bit of value with their Scrap Heap Scroungers.
Yeah, or cut to ribbons.
But it went, and cut to ribbons. But it went fine. They won the game fairly handily. I think in 2 games.
Now there are, of course, in standard you can't really do much to prevent yourself from getting milled out. There's like one really terrible artifact and commit to memory. In modern, there's slightly more viable answers, I suppose, but most people don't play them, right?
Yeah, I would guess Connor's sideboard. We might see. Well, I guess he's got Stubborn Denial. The counterspells are good here for the Ensnaring Bridge. That's the card you lose to. If Connor's got something like Natural State or Nature's Claim,
right?
Yeah, that kind of plan is fine, or maybe even a Kasali Pride Mage because that advances your aggro plan. But I think you need some number of artifact hate because you just can't beat that bridge.
You can't get through Ensnaring Bridge.
And if he has something like
I doubt he could have like Elixir of Immortality, but there's way better life gain spells.
You don't want to play that. What I was going to say is I think you want to play something like Thalia if you have it,
Yeah, right.
Thalia can just slow.
Guardian
You know,
of Thraben.
if you make that bridge cost 4 mana, if you make that glimpse cost 3 mana,
Yeah.
I think Thalia would be good out of the side here. Yeah, this could be an exciting match.
Do we think Connor has one of the Titans in his sideboard? He can bring that in and prevent himself from getting milled. The Eldrazi Titans.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
he is on Bant Eldrazi. I mean,
he is. He is.
Fit the namesake.
I wonder what number of Bant Eldrazi decks actually pack an Eldrazi that's 10 mana over. I have seen it. I've seen someone running like 2 Ulamogs on the side. But I don't think it's very common. And the reason, of course, you do it is because you do have Eldrazi Temple, and sometimes your games go long. It's not the worst thing in the world. You know, you've got Noble Hierarch, and some of these Bant Eldrazi decks run as many as 25, 26 lands.
Yeah.
There's actually sort of 2 philosophies. Some people go real low, like 20, 21, 22, and then just play 4 Hierarchs and 2, 3 birds. But some people play in 25 because the lands are just so good. And it's critical that you play 4, 5, 6 drops if you're playing like World Breaker.
Sure.
But it's possible. You're right. I mean, it is possible that he has an Ulamog. I don't know that, though.
All right, so here we see turn 1 Noble Hierarch from Connor.
Wait, does the new Ulamog even have that?
No, the new Titans don't have that clause. So yeah, just the old one.
So you'd have to have like a Kozilek Butcher of Truth or something.
or old Ulamog.
Yeah.
So Connor did not have this start last game. He did not have a mana dork to accelerate him.
Yeah, Noble Hierarch's huge here, not just for the acceleration, but also just to be able to get there in for damage with that one Exalted through an Ensnaring Bridge. For those of you who don't know, Noble Hierarch can swing under an Ensnaring Bridge even when your opponent has 0 cards, because it has 0 power when it swings, but of course it gets up to 1
with the Exalted.
And then if you have multiple Hierarchs, or even like a Kasali Pride Mage, that Hierarch can swing for as much as 3 or 4.
Sure.
So it's a pretty solid way to win a game against these Ensnaring Bridge decks. Yeah, definitely a good start for Connor. I think Josh would have liked to see the turn 1 Hedron Grab.
Turn 2
Hedron
Grab.
Yeah.
See if we're lucrative with our lands this time. It is not.
He's. Folks, this is what we call
This is improvement. There you go. Boom.
I love this. I feel so inspired.
Yeah. All right. Played our land after our crab. Got to mill 3.
Yeah. And now he could even Ghost Quarter himself to get another island.
Sure.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Josh. Don't go that deep.
No, that's not where you want to be. He does have an Ensnaring Bridge in hand as well as a Fraying Sanity.
Eldrazi Temple for Connor.
That is a lot of mana.
This is going to be huge. Oh, baby.
Reality Smasher on turn 3. That is not pleasant.
Yeah, this is pretty rough for Josh.
Yeah.
Because even if Josh drops an Ensnaring Bridge next turn, most of these creatures can still keep swinging because Josh will have 4 or 5 cards.
The 2/1 flyer can, but it will hold the Smasher back, I think.
Well, no, because he was on the draw.
Oh, okay.
So if he goes land and plays Ensnaring Bridge, he'll still have 5 cards in hand, won't he?
He will, yes. Oof.
So yeah.
That might be rough for a turn.
Bad news bears for Josh.
I don't know if he has any ways to deal with Reality Smasher once it's resolved. Probably not.
So a lot of these decks have Fatal Push, but of course Fatal Push doesn't do anything about Smasher. He'd have to have something like Go for the Throat or Victim of Night, and that seems highly unlikely.
Okay,
that is not
for the Fraying Sanity
not
instead of the bridge.
Not a great use of.
It's especially not great when we missed our landfall trigger.
Oh,
so we're not milling anything this turn.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, he could have milled him for 6 there.
Yeah. Did we have another Reality Smasher? That would just put the game away. I mean, Connor accelerated his mana so quickly this game, though. Turn 3 Reality Smasher is hard for many decks to beat.
Yeah, having a Noble on 1 and Eldrazi Temple on 3 is just solid.
Yeah,
that's what the deck is. That's what the deck's made for. I mean, that's why you play it. For plays
got a
like
6
this.
Right here's a Drowner of Hope. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just laying it on thick and heavy. Yeah, Josh needs to dump his hand.
So I have an interesting rules question here. So Fraying Sanity reads that player puts X cards into his graveyard, where X is the number of cards that went into the graveyard that turn.
Yep.
Does sacking the Eldrazi sign, it does technically go to the graveyard, correct?
It doesn't say cards though, because a token's not a card, I believe.
I don't know. I think it might be.
I think you could ask Scott. That is a good question, but I feel like this has come up for me in some other match involving a Voice Resurgence token. probably many years ago, but I think the answer is no. It's not.
Okay.
It's not a card.
So we do have Ensnaring Bridge here, but at this point it's going to be just too slow. Even if we can lock up the Reality Smasher, we're still taking a lot from the rest of this
Here's
stuff.
one way to extrapolate this ruling. Again, I'm not sure, but remember the other week we asked about being able to name a token with Gideon's Intervention?
Well, you definitely can't do that.
Right, but the reason Scott told I was trying to play a Gideon's Intervention against a Zombies player and tried to name Zombie token. Well, I didn't try to. I asked Scott beforehand, but Scott said you can't name Zombie token because it's not a card.
Well, it's not a name of a card. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. But that's my loose, tangent. I don't know. You could be right, but
so we glimpsed the unthinkable there. We milled 10, but we are dead on the kickback. We're not milling. I don't think we're milling the other 40 here. We're only milling another 10.
That actually seems like a highly relevant interaction, not in Modern, but in casual play, right? Because you've got players playing things like Blood Chief Ascension,
sure,
right? Mind Crank, and all of those. It would be very relevant to know if a token is a card hitting the graveyard.
So this looks like it's going to be lethal here. Connor takes game 2. And we're going to a game 3.
Yeah, so very fast start for Connor. It's going to be tougher to do that on the draw.
Yeah.
Especially what's nice for this mill deck on the play with Ensnaring Bridge is not only that your opponent is going to be slower naturally, but you'll be able to dump your hand faster.
Sure.
If Josh were on the play, he could have actually dropped a bridge and prevented that smasher from swinging for a turn.
So Josh is I have a thing to say about. So I have played Magic for about 2 years, and up until maybe a month ago, I never changed my sideboard between being on the play and draw. It's obviously something you should do because usually you can improve your deck or change want more answers on the draw and more active things on the play. But I never even did that. I never even considered it until it became a little bit better and finally started doing it. Josh is doing it here, so it shows that he's definitely played.
I wonder
before.
if
maybe he's just new to the deck.
Yeah, that could be. Though the turn 1 untap Sunken Hollow in game 1 makes me question that line of reasoning. But you're right. I mean that. Sideboarding here differently for game 3 is definitely a sign of a good player.
Right.
In most cases, sometimes players just, they get overly preoccupied about their matchup and they end up making their deck worse for game 3.
Sure.
But there are definitely instances where it's certainly correct to be sideboarding differently. One great example I can think of, if you're playing a deck with Mana Dorks, Aven Mind Sensor is great on the play. Because you can cast it on turn 2 off
your Mana Dork,
off a Birds of Paradise, like in Green White Hate Bears or something. But Aven Mind Sensor is almost always bad on the draw unless there's a really good reason for it to be in the deck. Like if your opponent's playing Primeval Titan and Shape Shift, then it's pretty good. But if your opponent's just playing fetch lands, Aven Mind Sensor is not very good on the play. So unless there's another reason to play, you kind of want to take it out.
Ooh, so Josh's hand's looking pretty land heavy here. We'll see if he decides to keep. I think he's got at least 4 or 5 lands.
That's not terrible, but might if it's 5 lands, Jace's Phantasm, and 1 other card, that's probably you can't keep that.
So Josh did decide to move on. I think his hand was about that. I think it was 4 or 5 lands, Jace's Phantasm, a Mesmeric Orb, and something else.
Yeah, that's not going to get you much.
He's gonna go to 6 though. Yeah, maybe if he had, I don't know, a Hedron Crab or.
I'm not wild about Jace's Phantasm in these decks for a few reasons. One of them is that it's a 5/5 flyer, which is nice, but it's a 1-mana card, meaning it still dies to things like Fatal Push right now. It was better in a Bolt meta,
sure,
but against Fatal Push, card's just not good.
Yeah.
But on top of that, your win condition is not beating your opponent down, and a 5/5 blocker right now, whereas in some past Magic formats was good. Dies to Gurmag Angler, dies to Death Shadow.
Well, it trades with it, though.
Well, trades with the Gurmag Angler, does not trade with the Death Shadow. So I'm not wild. I mean, I'd rather have, if you're playing it as a blocker, it almost makes you wonder, like, if you'd want something like Wall of Frost, I'm just not wild about Jace's Phantasm. The other thing is that your Jace's Phantasm can't attack through an Ensnaring Bridge.
That's true, yeah. That's kind of a bad interaction for the deck.
The card is sweet, but I'm just not sure about its place in Modern ever.
All right, so Josh unfortunately had the turn 1 tap Sunken Hollow again, but he does have Heejin Crab here, and he does have another land to play.
All right, getting those
got our
landfall
mill trigger.
triggers. Easy,
Oh,
easy.
okay, so we hit a Reality Smasher here. Josh actually brought in the Extirpate there, and taking out Reality Smasher could be pretty strong.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, especially, think if he has one in hand. You just neuter it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, because truthfully, Connor does not have a ton of overly aggressive threats.
Sure.
Sky Spawner is not a real clock.
No, it's not terrible.
It's okay, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Thought Not Seer is an okay clock. Drowner of Hope is not really a clock at all. I mean, it's not going to come down until at earliest turn 4,
sure.
right? Unless you got double temple.
So here, Connor's going to Ancient Stir.
I like the Extirpate play if he doesn't have anything better to do.
Get a Drowner of Hope.
Though you might have to save the Extirpate for Ensnaring Bridge removal.
Yeah, like he did mill a Reclamation stage there as well.
Yeah, but you've got to wonder. I mean, there's no way that Rec Sage is the only answer.
Sure. I mean, we saw Engineered Explosives.
Right.
So Connor went with an Ancient Stirrings. He took a Drowner of Hope, and now he's got another play for turn 2. It's another Noble Hierarch.
So double Noble seems bad, but it's actually very good.
Yeah, against the Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, against the Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, so we'll see Connor swing for 2 here. Obviously, you'd want to do that later after you get in damage with some real creatures first, but this seems fine.
Yeah. So I wonder what Josh has here. He's got he's got one Glimpse the Unthinkable and I think a Mind
looks like
Funeral.
A Mind Funeral or a Glimpse the Unthinkable. He also has a Visions from Beyond.
Sure.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is a 1-mana Therese Nielsen card. Beautiful art. Just absolutely beautiful. And if a player has 20 or more cards in a graveyard, it's draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
So, all right. We hit our landfall trigger this time. It looks like we're going with the Glimpse the Unthinkable. All right. There's another 10. Build another Reality Smasher. Yeah, that's 10. Ooh, well, we already took care of 3 Reality Smashers, so
yeah.
Don't know if we need to be extirpating any of those.
Extirpate them.
As well as 2 Drowner of Hopes. Connor does have one more in hand, but
yeah, there aren't a ton of threats left. We might just see Connor slap 2 more
Mana Dorks.
yeah, 2 more Hierarchs, start swinging for 4.
Sure.
Now
that works.
Connor has a path in hand. What do you think you want that path for? I mean, is pathing
Heejin
Crab
I don't
really
know.
What you want to be doing?
I mean, maybe he was preemptive against Jace's Phantasm or that other creature we saw, the Manic Scribe.
Man, Jace's Phantasm is not scary against you.
Ooh.
He's going to get the Rec Sage.
Eternal Witness. No, get back.
Oh.
So Temple so we can play something else this turn. Okay, well, we're pathing Heejin Crab. That's not great. Does Connor have to announce to his opponent that he can search his library? I guess not.
Well, it is. I think he does. I mean, your player opponent clearly doesn't know about it.
Yeah,
I think you do. I mean, it's a detrimental trigger, right? Well,
yeah.
Man,
well,
I think someone, if one of our stream runners wants to mention that to Josh, I think someone should let.
Well, I don't know if you should do that. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to go out. I mean,
I would feel
we're in an awkward place here, being commentators. You know, we can see things that are played wrong, but we can't directly tell the players that. Of course, wouldn't be allowed. But if there are rules that have to be followed, we can do something to get those fixed. Looks like it doesn't matter.
I mean, we're not even playing a competitive REL tonight.
That's true.
I think someone, whether or not someone needs to tell Josh to get his land, I would like if someone would tell him to get his land. Mainly because I want to see the underdog beat Bant Eldrazi.
Well, we're Mind Funeling for a lot here. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Wow. What was that, like 13?
Maybe. Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
We will see a Drowner of Hope here, but if Josh has some more mill to back that up, he could get there.
Gosh, I never thought about doing this, but you can extirpate, like against one of these Bant Eldrazi decks.
Extirpate a land?
Yeah, if you extirpate, like, let's say you extirpated Windswept Heath or Eldrazi Temple or something, your opponent is gonna, you can make these Mind Funerals, increasingly valuable.
Yeah, that was a pretty good play for Connor, though. He acidic slimed to kill one of Josh's lands.
We were just talking about acidic slime.
Yeah, we were for some.
I'm thinking about playing what am I saying? Red green Ponza tomorrow at this PPTQ, and Mario's doubtful. But I was telling him, I'm like, do you think I should play this foil acidic? Our store has a foil acidic slime. I'm like, man, that would be pretty sweet. But
It does kill lands.
Mario is not sold. It does kill. It kills artifacts. Is it artifact, enchantment, or land? Is that what it says?
Yeah, I think so.
And then it's a 2/2 death touch.
Yeah.
That seems like some spicy.
So we're drawing
Death
3.
Shadow tech.
Visions of Beyond. We found an ensnaring bridge, and we already got through the acidic slime. So if Josh can survive maybe a turn or two, we could. He can
play
post up behind this ensnaring bridge.
He can play this Dark Slick Shores. And ensnaring bridge, but he's still gonna have what, 4 cards in hand?
Well, he can't play it this turn. We can play Jace's Phantasm. Oh yeah. Now we're blocking.
Okay, well that thing is a 5/5. So.
And Connor already used his path, so.
Yeah, I guess Stonewall Jace's Phantasm seems okay.
Yeah. Of course, we can still attack with the acidic slime since it has death touch.
Yeah, and the acidic slime is actually going to swing for 4 here.
Right, with double exalted triggers.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Interestingly, Connor has an engineered explosives in hand, but of course putting that on 1 would not be great here
I think
as opposed to all his hierarchs.
I think you got to save it for the bridge, but I'm also really surprised that Connor Eternal witnessed for the Eldrazi temple earlier.
Yeah.
I think you just wanted to get the Rex stage, right? I mean, guaranteed.
Well, he knew he had the acidic slime in hand, so maybe he felt like he didn't need another answer. But then if you're just going to use the acidic slime, you know.
Yeah. I think this acidic slime is pretty sweet Death Shadow tech, right? I mean, it doesn't die to Fatal Push, it has Death Touch, and it's also just not a bad card.
If you can get to 5 mana, sure.
Yeah.
So Connor is thinking hard about what he wants to do with this Jace's Phantasm. We're going to go with Drowner of Hope, it looks like.
Yeah, I think you're just going to keep that thing tapped forever.
Get to attack for 4.
That seems like a fine play. So when Josh draws next turn, if he goes land and Snaring Bridge, how many cards will he have in hand? Will it be 3 or 4?
I don't know.
Oh wait, he just drew 3 cards.
He did just draw 3 cards.
He's never going to deploy his hand, right? I mean,
he's got 2 lands and a Snaring Bridge and an Extirpate. So if he hits a 1-drop, I think he can lower the threats. But as we mentioned earlier, the Exalted is going to be really relevant here, letting his threats grow after he gets under them, after he gets under the bridge.
Yeah, even the Hierarchs themselves are 2/3s at this point when they swing alone.
I think what Josh really needed here was like another Mind Funeral or an Archive Trap or something. Cause
you know what I think he needed? I think he needed a land when his opponent pathed him.
Connor is not. Oh no, never mind. Okay, so we put the Archive Trap there. We actually, unfortunately, Shelldog Owl comes in tapped. If Josh survives the turn, he might be able to get this Archive Trap off, but
yeah. So if he goes Ensnaring Bridge, he's down to 3 cards.
Sure. So that prevents the Drowner from attacking.
Yeah, but none of that is going to stop the Hierarchs.
Right.
He can only stop the Hierarchs with the Jace's Phantasm, but of course, Connor still has an Eldrazi Scion up.
So playing the bridge here buys him at least 1 turn.
Yeah.
He can stop the Drowner from attacking because the Drowner is a 6/6. So that if that attacks, it will. He will be dead, basically, to the two power creatures and the 6/6, assuming Jace's Phantasm is tapped again next turn. I think that's really the only line here. I mean, we can extirpate, but we're just dead. So
yeah, not the time for extirpating. I wonder if Josh would have actually gotten a land off of Path, he could have Ghost Quartered this this Eldrazi Temple at some point, which might have been helpful at taking his opponent off Drowner of Hope.
Yeah.
But I do think this game would look a lot different if he just had that land from Path.
Yeah, it's possible.
So it looks like Josh is in the tank here.
Yeah, he is really thinking about what he's doing. Looks like we settled on Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah. All right.
Seems
Found
like
the best line, probably.
Yeah. I'm not sure you want to extirpate. Is that another Ghost Quarter in hand?
Yes.
Man, he could have actually He could Ghost Quarter, take out the Yavimaya and the Eldrazi Temple at some point earlier.
And we milled so many cards. He might not even have any.
Well, exactly. His opponent would not have had colorless mana.
Oh, sure. He doesn't need colorless mana for anything at this point yet, though.
Well, not now. not
ever.
Not after he's already played the. Oh, I guess Drowner doesn't.
No, you don't. Yeah. The only colorless sources in the deck are Thought-Knot, Reality Smasher, and the Displacer activation.
Right. But I forgot that Drowner did not have that symbol.
So Thought Knot's actually really bad here. It takes a card out of Josh's hand.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So it looks like we've passed the turn. I don't think Connor can get lethal this turn, unless he can remove the Ensnaring Bridge.
No, he can't. Not unless he drops like a Gavany Township and pumps after declared.
Sure. Maybe something like that.
That'd actually be sweet if he just dropped a Gavany Township right here. A lot of Bant Eldrazi decks are playing that card. It's incredibly good with the Scions.
Yeah, it makes them into reasonable threats.
Of course, interestingly, if you play that Gavany Township and somehow it's not lethal, you put
any
counters
future
on,
attacks.
Yeah, well, yeah, you put counters on these hierarchs, right?
Yeah, right.
So that's not very good.
No.
Because then they can no longer attack under a 0-card Ensnaring Bridge. Interesting.
So Connor is thinking over his plays. I think Connor still has the Engineered Explosives in hand. So he can play that on 3. He can blow it up. It'll kill his own Eternal Witness, but he will be able to attack them with the Drowner, which will do 8 this turn with 2 Exalted triggers.
So I just thought of an interaction. If you're displacing your own Thought-Knot here, is there a rules way to make your opponent accumulate cards that way for Ensnaring Bridge? Well, I guess if they draw, because Thought-Knots here can't take a land, but neither is a May trigger, right?
No, both of them have to happen.
You have to choose a card, and they have to draw. So if they draw lands, you can
I guess you can get cards into your opponent's hand.
Yeah, if you displace for your own Thought-Knot in play, and your opponent draws lands off of it, you can actually get cards into your opponent's hands, which is actually pretty relevant.
I guess. I mean, it could be your only out at some point.
Sure.
So yeah.
Very few decks actually have a way to put cards in their Ensnaring Bridge opponent's hand.
Yeah,
one way is to Ancestral Visions, targeting
your opponent.
Yeah, targeting your opponent.
Sure.
Or another way is to Cryptic Command to put a card in their hand, to bounce a permanent. But
so we Explosives X1. Okay.
Is that lethal if he?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We can't attack with the Drowner of Hope.
Yeah. Do you think he?
Sure, tap your Hierarchs in response. I don't know why you wouldn't just use those for the...
Yeah, I don't know why he's doing it this way. This is the most confusing, convoluted way to do that.
All right.
You could have just... Yeah, okay.
Okay, down goes those things.
So
we're floating 2 mana. Play of Birds, okay.
Okay, so he's got an...
Destroy the Ensnaring Bridge, sure. Okay, so that gives him lethal this turn.
Well, his opponent gains 4 life from Nature's Claim.
Oh, you're right, okay. So not quite lethal. Yeah, we attack for
1, 2, 3,
11.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 11. Now let's see Connor go fetch shock for the lightning bolt. No,
well,
probably not.
Actually, if
you gain 4 life, yep.
How's he going to 4?
He's going to go to 3.
Whatever. Oh, he's Drowner's a 5/5. I think I'm mistaken. I don't think it's a 6/6. Yeah. Land for turn. So if Josh draws maybe a Mind Funeral, and Connor haphazardly cracks his fetch, we know that Josh has an Archive Trap underneath the Shelldock Isle.
Sure.
There's an outside chance. Well, there's a glimpse of the unthinkable. There's an outside chance he gets the Milka, but Connor has to just haphazardly crack his fetch land, which if he's playing dutifully, he will not.
But if Josh, I wonder if Josh ghost quarters his opponent.
Oh yeah.
His opponent could choose to search, and
sure.
So I wonder if that's all kind of interesting. But Josh doesn't have enough. Doesn't Shelldock cost?
Oh, we can just cast Archive Trap, right? Because we don't need the free. Of course, we needed. Well, we need another blue mana for that.
Does he have that few of cards in his library?
I guess. Oh, this is.
No, he can ghost quarter himself.
Yeah, well, he had an island in hand. He could have played that. Okay, there. He did not play land this turn. He had an island in hand.
Man. All right, well, Mario, this is why we shouldn't have put table. I wanted to watch Michael Farrell and Ryan Kurz play the mid-range mirror.
Jund mirror.
But Mario elected to watch this this blue-black mill Bant Eldrazi crisis. This can only be described as a crisis.
Well,
but yeah, Josh does win there.
He does win. He did have the line to win. He just didn't prove it to his opponent before doing it.
Not only did he have an island in hand, he could have won on board by ghost quartering his own island.
Sure.
So, well, anyway, folks, that was
the mill win.
Yeah,
I like it.
The mill win.
I'm glad. I'm happy.
I would
for
be
him.
incredibly tilted if I were Connor here.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him flip all his cards over.
I mean,
his
shoot,
library.
Connor scumbagged his opponent multiple times in that game when he
not telling him about the path.
Not telling him about the path. The stubborn denial scumbag. I mean, I guess the stubborn denial is like you're playing to your outs, but geez. Well, anyway, folks, we're gonna try to forget this round 1 happened. We'll bring you something sweet and spicy for round 2. Make sure you check out the Patreon. I think we'll get a link up in chat here soon. It's a great way to keep the stream up and running and keep your favorite content coming out. You can get involved with a one-time donation or a sustaining membership, however you want to do it. And then we've also got Mario. Tell them about the new.
Yes. Now we can now subscribe. You can now subscribe to us on Twitch if you like watching us every week. We do have subscription. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get a free subscription. So if you use it on us, that would be great. Helps the stream keep improving and helps us keep it alive. It's a nice way to support the stream. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for round 2.
Yeah, don't go away.